pop music.
Sounds like pop music to me, man. Pop music is exciting.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Pop music's weird. It's confusing sometimes.
Pop music right now is in one of its most confusing states of all time, okay? Right? It still talks like pop music, but it dresses like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but you have to be careful. If you're too focused on being cool, though, that's not cool.
I never had that problem.
Yeah.
I was never cool. I just gave up a long time ago. Tegan and Sara, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, man, come on. It's my job. I don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah,
It's
of
my job.
course. I know. I dragged my butt out of bed this morning,
Exactly.
I'll tell you.
Let's just be straight up right now.
I was like, ugh.
No, I've been looking forward to hanging out for a long time, especially now that we have, new music, new things to talk about.
Yeah.
And what an amazing, new album this sounds like so far. I mean, I'm 3 songs in like the rest of the world, and it just sounds like you guys have hit your stride when it comes to fusing the idea of, being songwriters and writing pop music and keeping it fun and danceable and emotional, right?
I think so. It's funny because we just did some shows and we had to go back into the catalog to, work on some of the older songs. And I think I've underestimated, in a way, sonically, like how dramatic the new record is compared to some of our older albums. Even just like song structures, like pop music, it's like, it's deceptively simple. Sometimes you think, oh, this is like, oh, I could write this meat and potatoes, verse, chorus. But I don't know that we were necessarily very good at that until very recently. So it's really satisfying. I think the new record is going to really surprise people.
I think that, listening, because I went through and reminded myself over the weekend of your albums and went through, there's a lot of music. What are we, 7, 8 albums now?
Yeah.
It's incredible. 16 or 17 years of making records.
Teleprompter world.
For you guys,
for sure.
It's the full Michael Stipe, right? You guys have to, it's the end of the world as we know it.
Yep.
But I was going back and I was listening, and I went right back to the very start, and I went right back to Divided. And, the very first thing that anyone really on an album front had kind of had a chance to listen to, right, with that opening little sample as well. What was that sample?
It's our mother telling us we were, I think, 3 years old, and they'd gotten us a Fisher-Price tape recorder, and we fought over it, and we were, the recording is actually very sweet, but yeah, my mom, of course, quips that,
We'll listen to this again when you're 18, and you can hear how big a brats you guys are. It's just so good.
It was really good. I mean, I'm glad that she got it for us. She said we loved listening to ourselves. Like, we would just record ourselves talking, and then we would listen back. So we've always been fascinated by ourselves.
But I think...
really humble.
Quote.
We're very humble as well.
Quote. There's your merch sussed.
Yeah.
But
on this
notice
tour.
I didn't say, though, that I wanted to... We didn't play it for anyone. We were quite content, apparently, just to sit in our room, record ourselves, and then listen back, just the two of us.
But it was one of the most, and I hope you hear this the right way, it's one of the most precocious starts to any recording career, to take a recording of yourself fighting over a recording device and your mother calling it right at the time.
I mean, this is why we were always kind of horrified. It wasn't that we aren't proud. It isn't that we aren't proud of our early music, but it took a few records for us to find our voices and find our stride and start that real journey. And when I think about those first few records, I guess it is that. It's that we were precocious and naive, and we were so young, and we were so excited, and we just thought, well, if you can make a record, which is a feat in itself, write enough material, finish a record, and put it out in the world, then you're going to be successful. And it's just so funny because it just took so long for us to get our feet under us.
When was the last time you listened to Divided?
A long time
I
ago.
mean, the recorded version?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Good.
This is my cable course. Yeah, talk like that. So when you're 18 and you're listening to this, you can hear what a brat you were.
I can't believe how young my mom sounds.
So young.
The shows are cheap, but they don't mind if you put your feet up. She's out on the highway, she's got a homemade sign that says, go ahead, try to figure out what my future looks like. I don't wanna live my life like a story. I was thinking I could have been something. Don't run outside and control me. Just film away and let me be. I feel fine. I go on. There's something so divided. Don't worry, as if you're one. You live your life as if you're one. Fun quiet. It's awful quiet. How can you be mad? We've just got started. I wanna shave my head, lie in bed all day long. How can you be mad? We've just got started. Live your life as if you're one. Live your life as if you're one. Hey, I feel fine. I go on. I move on. Don't live your life like a movie. I was thinking you could have been something. Don't live your life for me or for anyone. You live your life as if you're one. You live your life as if you're one. I'm quiet. It's awful quiet. I'm quiet.
That's how it started.
Oh my God.
1997, big year for Tegan and Sara.
Crazy.
I mean, I honestly cannot even think of a time that I've listened to that probably in the last, 15 years.
That's why I had to do it, because the
insane.
journey has been so
It's insane, yeah.
incredible from that recording right through to this new album, A Song Like Boyfriend. I think
Yeah.
it's important, you really are on the precipice of something with this new album, it feels like, and it's just
Yeah.
cool to go back and remind yourself that you were young and crazy with a guitar to singing those songs like that.
Absolutely. I think we have a deep respect for the early part of our career, because we were literally just speaking about this 10 minutes ago, about how much, though those years were very difficult, those were the years that ensured that we would always remain humble and hardworking and always have this connection with our audience, because we recognize how important that audience is. They're what keep us going all these years later, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And of course, it's important that everyone continues to remind you that you are humble folk singer-songwriter duo. Tegan
sure
and Sara,
do.
Despite the fact that you can be making more modern-sounding pop music right now. Let's talk about this new album and, building up to this moment, coming off the back of Heartthrob, which was another important moment in your career, and realizing you wanted to make a new record. Did you know that you wanted to carry on in that tradition, that you had more to achieve with those sounds and that feel?
Absolutely. I have all the respect in the world for the music that we made, but I know for me, especially even more than Tegan, I just was so ready to be in a different band. I didn't necessarily not want to be with Tegan, but I was looking forward to trying something totally different and not feeling beholden to any of the stuff that people knew us for. And Heartthrob was just the beginning, and by the end of making that record, we had really started to hit our stride with Greg Kirsten, who produced most of it. And I was already anticipating, okay, I can't wait to get back in the studio with Greg and see what we can really do once we've once we've sort of gotten comfortable with this music. And touring it we toured for 3 years with that record, and I think we were both just itching to get back in and put those new skills to kind of work. And so I feel like this record is the perfect sort of follow-up to Heartthrob, but I think it's more muscular and exciting than Heartthrob was.
Yeah, and lyrically and thematically as well. I think you've really gone for the pop jugular.
Yeah.
I mean, look at a song like Boyfriend, which is just, I want to know how you came. At what point and what was the environment in which you came up with that particular hook and you were able to make the distinction between... Can you hear the bass, by the way?
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening?
I guarantee that's Will I Am right now, showing off.
He
Okay,
probably heard Tegan singing Divided, and he was like,
He's feeling it.
He's like, I need to throw a beat down immediately.
If we're going to battle, we're going in. Take this bass. Now, he'll be showing off. He'll have someone very important in his studio right now, and he'll be showing off. I guarantee it.
Love it. Keep it up.
I want to know about the context of that song, because when you come up with the idea, the contrast between, boyfriend, best friend, and you throw that awkwardness into a pop song, and you get it right. And you get it right, which you got so right. You must have been a moment when you cracked that and thought, oh, this is a good one.
Sarah, did you pop some champagne and do a handstand in your studio?
Did you high five a mirror?
You know what's so crazy? I mean, sometimes you know and sometimes you don't, and this was one that I didn't really know. It was a pretty simple, straightforward pop track that I had very simple instrumentation, and I was sort of fooling around with the idea and
what key to put it in, and I got sick of the track and I kind of put it away. And then it was when I got into the studio with Tegan and Greg and I played it for them, they were both like, this is a pop, like this is don't, are you even considering not putting this on the record? But I don't know, sometimes you're just too close to it. And my big concern with pop music is always like, how do you make something that is gonna reach a lot of people without being dumb? Like how do you say something simple but have it, have multiple meanings or whatever. So I fooled with these lyrics a lot. I wanted it to sort of be really simple, but I also wanted it to have like texture to it. Even like the lyric in the bridge about the crying game. Like I know a lot of people right now listening to pop music don't probably know that movie from the 90s, but I remember it. Like I remember the the Boy George song, and I remember watching that movie with my family and feeling really confused about what was happening. And because of the way that film sort of plays with gender identity and sexuality, and but in this really smart way, I wanted to kind of do the same thing with this song.
You smashed it with this one. I always think you can always chalk up a really great pop song by having a creative space.
Yeah.
And you've created a creative space in your chorus. You've made the space a hook. That bit where you go, I'm terrible with lyrics, like I'm awful. So
You're
just
okay.
I'm
You're
sorry
okay.
if I mess
Safe
this up.
space.
But when
Safe
you kiss me like your boyfriend, then you
Yeah.
go, but you treat me like your space. That's good. That is good space right there.
I love it. Thank you.
Silence as a hook, ladies and gentlemen. Tegan and Sara live on Beats 1. This is the aforementioned Boyfriend.
Tell you that I love you, that I can't hold back. The feeling that you give me, wanna give it right back. I know you always win at this particular game. I need to know the rules if you want me to play. You treat me like your boyfriend and trust me like a very best friend. Kiss me like your boyfriend. Call me up like you would your best friend. You turn me on like you would your boyfriend, but I don't wanna be your secret anymore. I'm trying to be honest, cause I can't relax. Oh, when I get around you, I can't hide the fact I let you take advantage cause it felt so good. I blame myself for thinking we both understood. You treat me like your boyfriend and trust me like a very best friend. Kiss me like your boyfriend. You call me up like you would your best friend. You turn me on like you would your boyfriend, but I don't wanna be your secret anymore. I wanna play a crying game. You feel the same. You feel the same. Wanna spin the bottle again. You feel the same. You feel the same. You treat me like your boyfriend and trust me like a very best friend. Kiss me like your boyfriend. You call me up like you would your best friend. You turn me on like you would your boyfriend, but I don't wanna be your secret anymore. You treat me like your boyfriend and trust me like a very best friend. Kiss me like your boyfriend. You call me up like you would your best
How do you end a pop
friend.
song?
Turn me on
This one wrote
like you
itself.
would your boyfriend, but I don't wanna be your
Space.
secret anymore.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. I mean, when you're going to end it like that, Sarah, come on. You're just like, I don't want to be your... Wait for it. Secret and reverb. Rap.
This is great. I would like you to do this for all of our songs.
Not all of them are that good.
They're not. You're right. Okay, you saw through.
There's a lot of songs, guys. I couldn't say you have a 100% track record, but
No, we don't.
you're doing pretty good.
All right, thank
This
you.
new album is already, like I said, sounding fantastic. Love You to Death, which is out June 3rd, coming through worldwide. And we'll talk about all the touring because, my God, there's a lot of touring. That's terrifying.
North America.
Really scary.
It's like it's 1998 all over again. But I want to talk about some of the themes on this record because this is a pretty heartbreaking sounding album to me. There's a lot of kind of real home truths, I think, as well on this. It's easier to write
heartbreaking songs that blame everybody else. There's a lot of reflection, it would feel to me, in what I've heard so far in this record, like, why am I doing this? What's going on here? As writers, as people who and musicians who come together and you have to deal with these themes, and you're dealing with this kind of emotion despite the fact that the music feels upbeat, it must be quite taxing at times.
I think the challenge, probably why we like pop music, but the challenge just as writers throughout our career has been how to pair really dark themes and emotional introspective work with upbeat music. As obviously it's progressed and gotten to the point now where it's like pop music, straight up pop music, but to try to balance those two different ideas is a really exciting challenge in terms of our artistry. Like, it really pushes us. Like, how can I say the deepest, darkest thing but make you feel good while you're listening to, if that's what you want? And I think that with Heartthrob Into Love You to Death, we really wanted to push ourselves to kind of create a clearer path to the edginess of Tegan and Sara past. So I think some of the feedback from some of the super fans and some of the diehard fans who've been with us a long time was that they felt that we maybe had smoothed over some of the rougher stuff, and we wanted to have that but still be able to be played on mainstream radio and to compete on the main stage. And I think that for me personally, I think that this was the record where I started to think back, maybe feel not regret, but definitely start to feel responsibility and accountability for my actions in my relationships, and not just my romantic relationships, but all of my relationships. And I think that I thought I wanted to take less advantage of those relationships. I'm not necessarily saying that I felt that in the past I had used people, but I think that you have to be very careful when you are turning your heartbreak and your relationships into material that you're then getting up on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people and benefiting financially and emotionally.
Adele said something very similar when I spoke to her. There are liberties which artists have to take, but at some point, whether you do when it's actually in person, when you see someone and they're like, "Look, I'm really proud of you. I think it's great, but don't expect me to tell you it's easy to hear these songs."
It's tough, and I think that's why I think for Sara and I, we're at that point in our career where, there's definitely a moment right now where I think we're being more introspective. So for me, a lot of this record is not about a relationship. It's about how I behave. It's about my behavior. What mistakes have I made? Every single song I can think of that's been popular with our fan base has been about me playing the victim. I'm not the victim, and I haven't been. And I don't know how I got away with, this perception of myself that I portrayed into the world that I was the victim. But I've been I've been the jerk. I've been the jerk, and I've been the person that complains and sort of creates this sad, weepy picture of myself. I agree with that. Yeah.
That would be fine for you to come out and have that realization, and we would all high five you and well done, you've reached a real point, you've finally grown up. But what you've done is you've actually committed that to this album, Love You to Death, on a song called 100 Times, which is about as bigger admission of being a jerk as you possibly can get. It's a tough one, that one, to listen to, I think, if you've been through that and you put someone through that, because what you're saying is, I tried to get out of this situation, but I didn't really try hard enough. That's the bottom line. Fail. Here's your grade, chump, you flunked.
I've been crazy thinking I was wrong, like a fool holding on too long. Let it crumble, let the whole thing fall. You were someone I loved, then you were no one at all. It was cruel of me to do what I did to you, did to you. It was wrong of me to hurt such a big part of you, part of you. I swear I tried to leave you at least 100 times a day. I swear I tried to tell you times a different way. I need out on my own. I don't wanna live this way. I need out on my own. I don't wanna live this way. I swear I tried to tell you at least 100 times a day. You went silent watching as I packed, rehearsed the words you hoped would get me back. Shut it out and let your whole world fall. I was someone you loved, then I was no one at all. It was cruel of me to do what I did to you, did to you. It was wrong of me to hurt such a big part of you, part of you. I swear I tried to leave you at least this way. I need out on my own, I don't wanna live this way. I swear I tried to tell you at least 100 times a day. Oh, I told you that I needed out and I couldn't stay. Couldn't stay here one more day. Oh, I told you that I needed out and I couldn't say. Couldn't tell you one more way. I swear I tried to leave you at least 100 times a day. I swear I tried to tell you 1,000 times a different way. I need out on my own, I don't wanna live this way. I need out on my own, I don't wanna live this way. I swear I tried to tell you at least 100 times a day.
You gonna be okay over there?
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. That's a track called 100 Times by Tegan and Sara, which is taken from a brand new album called Love You to Death. And yeah, I mean, that's a very, very honest record. You know, as you know, siblings who are so close from birth and have to share experiences, and of course there's mystery and magic to these kind of relationships, you know, and varying degrees of intensity that come with that. Obviously it really helps when it comes to writing music. It's been a huge part of your chemistry towards getting the music out there in a way. But do you feel that pain when the other one's going through it?
I mean, I think that, you know, especially in our adult lives, Tegan and I have had lots of ups and downs, and there was times, I mean, I think of, we had a record that came out in 2007 called The Con, and I remember, you know, Tegan was going through a terrible time, and it's weird to get songs like, she'll send me a song like Call It Off, and of course I'm thinking like, this is fantastic, but then you're also thinking about, it's so sad for Tegan how crap her life is right now, but I'm so glad because she's writing such, you know, poignant songs. So I think it's tough because sometimes we're actually going through a lot of the emotional ups and downs in our lives through the music, which sounds very cheesy, but it's like a lot, you know, we don't, it is. And I think that that's very authentic. And it's interesting because even like the song you just played with 100 Times, you know, I don't think that, you know, Tegan and I have to always talk about our relationship or the things that have gone on, you know, the conflict that we've had or the tension that we've had. But it also feels like, you know, there is something healing about writing a song and then standing on stage and singing it together. You know, like there's sort of it's a beautiful bridge, I guess, in a way. You know, it's like, yes, this is about conflict that she and I have had, but then we sing it together on stage. And I don't know, there's something, I hope it doesn't feel like we're exploiting it, but I also feel
exploited.
It's
But you did that to yourself.
no, but
I think it's funny
nice.
that you opened this all playing Divided, which was a song about our relationship and about the struggle that Sarah and I felt, because we were very, very, very lucky, and in high school we're already, you know, courting record labels and that sort of stuff, and it was scary because we had never really ever been able to declare anything else as our passion or anything else that we wanted to do. Neither of us felt there was a clear path ahead of us, and when music arrived, it felt like there was finally this clear path, and I felt such joy and excitement, and Sarah was very unsure initially. And so yeah, it can be very, as Sarah said, it can be very healing to write a song about that relationship, but then it borders on exploitive, and you are standing on stage, everyone's like standing holding each other, and you're like,
heartbreak is
I know.
in music. That's the point. Look at this message right here. This is from Taryn. Literally got me crying over here after playing 100 times, but I can't stop listening. There it is in a nutshell.
I think as human beings, there's something deeply cathartic and satisfying about witnessing other people going through something you're going through.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, sometimes when I look out into the audience and I see people cry, like I've seen people cry, you know, during certain songs in our set, and I'll think like, the thing that they're tapping into is very unique and totally different than what maybe I wrote the song about, but that we can sort of let that, I don't know, like that can be pulled out of people by a melody or a certain lyric. It's really special.
That's what's special about it. We all get to live, you know, vicariously in our own light through, you know, the one that you shine on. It's brilliant. We got a premiere we're going to play very soon called Stop Desire. It's going to be our next record, which we're very excited to share. Another step in the right direction for this album for fans. June 3rd for the full record, Love You to Death. But first, we have to talk about this Bon Jovi-style world tour, which you guys are about to embark on. I mean, I know artists like to tour, but it's been a while since I've seen a full A4 piece of paper in Arial font size 8 taken up by tour dates. It's incredible. So the live show feels good.
Yeah, it's going to feel good. I mean, that's the first leg that we've announced, which is mainly North America, and there'll be more to come worldwide. We'll be announcing all of 2017's dates, you know, as we get later into 2016. But you know, we pride ourselves on being a live band. I think with Heartthrob, we did a lot of really crazy stuff. We opened for the Black Keys and the Killers, and then we went out with Fun, and then we shared the stage with Katy Perry to wrap up the record, and we loved it. All those experiences, I mean, I wouldn't trade them for anything. I think Sarah and I, we absolutely want to learn all the time. We never want to get complacent or boring. We never want to stop stretching ourselves or elevating our band. So we take tours like that to learn. And I can't think of a better group of people to learn from. But this record, Love You to Death, is about headlining. It's about reestablishing ourselves as the live act that I think a lot of our core audience has fallen in love with. You don't just come to see Tegan and Sara to hear the hits. You come for the relationship between us and, you know, to stand with a community of people that are very, very different from you, but that you share this one thing in common. And we want to take that as far as we possibly can with this record. So there's going to be a lot. Get ready for Bon Jovi, a.k.a. Tegan and Sara, 2017
Get
and
ready,
16.
Montreal, the Metropolis. Get ready, the Pabst Theatre in Milwaukee. Get ready. I mean, I'm new to this country. I didn't even know there was a Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Vancouver.
We're part of the Commonwealth.
I'm a New Zealander. I am very much a part of the Commonwealth right here. I should know that fact.
Yeah.
That is a very long and extensive tour throughout September, October, and November in the United States, just to start after, of course, some shows, including Australia, which will be nice. You know, get down to Australia.
It'll be awesome.
Get some decent coffee.
One of our favorite places.
Fantastic coffee.
Great coffee.
We love coffee
Excellent
in Australia.
eggs.
Yeah. We've got a lot of relatives in Australia, actually.
None of them working.
No.
Totally recession-free zone.
Yeah.
God bless mineral wealth. Unbelievable. Seriously, you just have to go 3 or 4 miles to find someone in Australia who's doing a job. Everyone's just literally drinking coffee, having a great time. They've got a sus lifestyle, beach and park. They've nailed it. Okay, listen, we've had a blast hanging out with you. You really have, and it's all, you know, it feels too short. So, I mean, you know, when you roll back through, you know, the West Coast, we'd love you to just come hang out. Just kick
Thank
this.
you.
We'll play other people's music as well. We'll have a good time. We're going to premiere this record right now to say goodbye. It's a song called Stop Desire from the album Love You to Death. Just give us a few words about this before we share it.
You know, I mean, you can take it at face value. It's about that moment, that spark, that fire you feel when you meet somebody, and just wanted to write a pretty straight ahead pop, let's get it on song. But I think also I'm very fascinated with the idea of desire, the idea of constantly wanting something and standing in that moment when you have everything you ever wanted, that last thing you desired, and yet you still desire something
Way
else.
too much information. If I can give you one bit of advice, next time you do an interview about
getting
this
it
song,
on, everybody.
there it is.
Let's do it.
This is a straight up let's
Let's
get it
do
on
it.
song.
Not here, though.
Denying, begging for attention, dropping hands, hoping for some attention. Getting tired of making off this racket, waiting on you to get your ass in gear. I didn't wanna be so invested, played it cool and then I overdressed it. You were there, I was tired of this nonsense where you pretend you know. Get me, feel me, want me, like me, love me, need me. Tonight, you feel for my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 no stop desire. Oh, 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 I've tried, but you feel to my fire. You can't stop desire. Oh, 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 no stop desire. Oh, oh, oh. In a minute, be hoping that you're outside. Another second, you'll be walking on my wild side. You know I'm ready for anything to happen. Get this passion burning into action. Get me, feel me, want me,
up, right? June 3rd, Love You to Death, the brand new album, The 8th of Tegan and Sara, and that is a Beats 1 exclusive. Beats 1. It's called Stop Desire. We'll play it again at the end of today's show. So tell your friends they got 29 minutes to sort themselves out. Here's a repeat of today's world record from Hani El Khatib. The song is called Paralyzed.